Hi YouTube family, my name is Alicia English and welcome back to my channel. I have been thinking about fall. I know it's the beginning of August, but fall is in the air. And I'm looking around me, and last year I had a really big craft show and I didn't get a chance to really do much fall decorating. And so I'm pretty excited this year to be able to actually add a little bit of fall curb appeal to the house and spend some time creating some things for our own space. I also have a few friends who always support me, and so I thought during this video I would tackle a couple of fall wreaths. I have 5 different platforms to be able to create some leaves. No, we're not. Fall and leaves is going in my oh my goodness. Fall wreaths to be able to give to a couple of friends and make a beautiful one for our front door. So I have 5 different platforms. I have a grapevine wreath here. I have just a traditional wire wreath that you can use as a template to start your own, a thrifted basket, an embroidery hoop, and I have a wood round left from a project that I did a long time ago. I have a rounds video on my video if you want to know how to cut these out. Everything that I'm using, I found in my art space. I'm starting to go through everything that's going to go into my studio space, which means I'm finding treasures I didn't even remember I had, all thrifted and picked up upcycle, keeping different materials left over from other projects. And I'm going to try to turn this table set worth of different supplies that I have into 5 different wreaths, all super inexpensive to make. I actually have not predetermined how I'm going to make these 5 separate wreaths. I'm going to see if I can tackle 5 with just the items that I found around the house here that I have out on the table. So I'm just going to work with my own creativity and see what I can come up with. The first one that I'm going to start with is the grapevine wreath. I've made maybe 1 or 2 wreaths before in the past, so definitely not a wreath expert, but I think I can make some really beautiful ones that will be perfect for fall out of what I have here. I really love yellow, especially for fall. We have a beautiful yellow door on our front screen porch that we built this year, so I'm excited to put a fall wreath on it. And then I think I'm gonna definitely add some accents of yellow. So the first thing that I'm going to start with is this gorgeous mustard color natural vining that I have. This was, I think, from a craft store a long time ago. It's been in a box, so it's a little bit crinkly. We're gonna flatten it out, and I'm going to put some of this onto the grapevine wreath. When looking up trends for 2020 for wreaths, asymmetrical wreaths are all the trend. And so I think what I'm going to do is take this gorgeous mustard floral that I have, put it on the contrast of this grapevine wreath and make it asymmetrical. So just kind of following the flow of the wreath up the one side. Then I'm gonna add a little bit of fall details. So I'm just going to use, this is already actually a little bit wiry and I can bend it where I want. So I'm going to weave it into the grapevine wreath, just kind of starting from the bottom, I think, and then work my way up. And then I'll be able to add some wire to make sure things are staying in place how I want them, kind of as I go. I don't want the greenery, this grasses that's coming with this already, so I'm just taking out the parts that I really want. I have some of the mustard floral where I want it in place. What I'm going to do is use some brown floral wire. It is actually going to match with the grapevine of the wreath, and then you won't actually be able to see it. So I'm going to cut just a few small pieces and kind of wire this into place, and then I'm going to add my fall details. I lost the end. Okay, so I have the asymmetrical aspect of my wreath done, and I want to add some fall decoration. So I have these really cute little miniature white pumpkins, which I think are going to look gorgeous against the actual mustard and with the contrast of the wreath. And so I'm going to use a hot glue gun, and I'm going to put a few of them along the inside here, kind of like they're trailing up a little bit. Hot glue gun is your friend when wreath making.
Hello, Ramona. I can't shake the simplest feeling. Beyond the ghost, we stand on the opposite shore. Hello, Ramona.
For wreath number 2, I'm going to use this vintage basket. I picked this up at a thrift store months ago and I just love it. It was actually hanging on the wall in our house for quite some time, but I've changed what I have in that space. So now I'm going to turn it into a gorgeous fall wreath. So I really like the dimension of this and how it's going to hang kind of different than a traditional wreath, which will give me some space to actually put some things in this inside, which means I get to use one of my little vintage truck cutouts that I have. I actually just put the holiday version of this up on my Etsy shop, pre-cut with a stencil. But what I did was I actually made some little pumpkin silhouettes in the back of this instead of a Christmas tree, which I think is going to look really cute. I've made some laminated reusable stencils, and what I'm going to do is make a bluish colored truck for this little ornament that I'm gonna put in the wreath. I decided that I'm going to make my wreath in a bluish, kind of a vintage blue color, just using a makeup sponge and a very little amount of paint. I'm gonna blot it off and sponge on my little truck. So now my wreath basket looks like this, and I still wanna add some fall elements and a bow to it. And because I have this area where I can inset things in, I'm going to add some pumpkins in that cute little truck that I just made. What I'm doing is putting a couple of the pumpkins along the back. These are actually going to be the support that my truck is going to go against. That way it will look like there's a bunch of pumpkins behind. So I'm just adding some for some supports, and I'm putting in a bunch of extra glue so that I can glue my truck to the front. I don't have a ribbon for what I need for this project, and what I do have is a tea towel that I picked up that has some really amazing tassel fringes at the end, which I think would be really cute on the end of like a fake ribbon that's going to go on the front of this wreath. And so what I'm doing is I'm going to cut this into a couple of strips, leaving the end with the tassels, and then make my own bow. My other wreaths have actual little hangers on them where you would be able to hang them on a wreath hook or actually just from a nail on your door. But because this one is a basket that sticks out a little bit more, I need to give it something to hang on to. So I just have this jute ribbon here that I've made a loop, and I'm going to glue it to the back, which will give this some way to hang it a little more successfully than if it was flat on the door. For wreath number 3, I'm going to use the wire wreath set. This is gonna give me a lot of space to be able to weave through, and I'm going to use this dried floral. I know that I picked this up at a craft store a long time ago, but I absolutely love all of the colors of the burgundy, the green. There's some really deep auburn mustard in there. I think it's gonna be a gorgeous, and look at this like deep coral. Perfect, gives me all the fall feels. And so I'm going to weave it through this set. And then I don't know if I'm gonna do a bow or not, but I think it might just look good natural itself.
There is a life I lead in this city, hurrying to cut my teeth. I can take what I need to get by, it doesn't make it easy. The other piece of my heart moves slow, somewhere in the great unknown, when I return from the afterglow.
Wreath number 4, I'm going to use the wood round that I had from a leftover project, and I'm going to paint it in a really cute vintage teal color. And then I'm gonna put a quote on top and then add a wreath around it and a hanging aspect. This is gonna be really cute, and it gives a little bit of a different aspect than using an actual wood round wreath form, and then just kind of give it a little bit of a different texture. I'm going to paint this using one of my Alicia English brushes. You can purchase these on my Etsy shop.
When the moon hits your eye like a big piece of pie, that's some water. Hear those bells ring-a-ding-a-ding, ding-a-ling-a-ling.
Oh my goodness.
Vita Bella.
Only you can make watching paint dry fun. Okay, I really feel like I'm making a pizza now.
Right?
I wanted a buffalo plaid ribbon, but since I can't find any at the store, they seem to be really sold out pretty much everywhere, even online. I wanna make my own buffalo plaid ribbon. So I found this buffalo plaid handkerchief that I actually used in our live yesterday to cut to make a piece of ribbon, and it worked out perfectly. Now when you're making wreaths, the wired ribbon is really key for making bows, and so I'm going to make my own wired ribbon by adding a little bit of wire to both sides of the back side of this ribbon that I'm going to make, and then make myself a bow to be able to put on my wood round wreath. To be able to create the wired wreath, I'm just using a very little thin spool of wire here. This is just a gold one. I wish I would have had something more black, but gold will do. And then I'm going to use the pieces of handkerchief that I cut up to be able to actually make the ribbon. So using the hot glue, I'm just going to put the wire along the side, add a little bit of hot glue, and then fold over the ribbon. That is going to hide the wire, and I'm going to make a wired ribbon. And I'm gonna do that on both sides. Oh, it bends, super fun.
You gotta be a warrior to use hot glue.
This is a thin handkerchief too. Oh my goodness.
Oh my gosh, it's so hot.
I'm trying not to adhere my thumb to the new wire ribbon. Okay, so now I have, you can see bendy wiry ribbon. I'm going to do it on the other side. Should I sacrifice the other thumb or use the same thumb?
Try to use the same thumb.
Oh my goodness. Using a reusable stencil, I'm going to do a little stenciling on this wood round, and it says plant smiles, grow laughter, harvest love. If you want to grab this stencil, you can find it on my Etsy shop as well as in an SVG. So I'm going to put this on right now. I'm going to do it a little bit up from the bottom since I know that I'm putting a bow at the bottom. And I'm going to use white because I don't need it to be like super bright from the road, but I want you to actually be able to see it a little bit too. So hopefully you can see it on the camera. Sacrificing finger. It's all worth it. It's like beauty is pain, but like beautiful home decor is pain. Who needs that your index finger anyways?
Right?
So overrated.
You never use it.
Oh, this is the last wreath. 5 wreaths in this video. If you're enjoying this video so far, if you want to see me do another wreath video, because I'm having a blast doing this, if I reach 3,000 likes on this video, then I will do another wreath tour. I want to make more wreaths. Hit the like button. Wreath number 5, embroidery hoop. Pretty much everyone has one of these floating around. I couldn't find mine, so my friend Karen came to the rescue. Thank you, Karen. Wreaths 1 through 4, I used a little bit untraditional fall colors, but still kept it super trendy. But I want to make one that's in your really like reds, burgundies, greens, mustards, oranges. So I've gone with this very typical fall fabric. Plaid gives you that fall feeling, and I'm going to use the embroidery hoop. So what I need to do is I've taken it apart, so I've loosened it all up, and I'm going to put the hoop part underneath. So it's underneath my tea towel, and I'm going to frame up this tea towel with the hoop. Then I'll be able to tighten my hoop back up. I'm gonna give this a few pulls here so I make sure my fabric is nice and tight, because I'm going to stencil on this fabric. My hoop around my fabric, which is perfect. You can line it up pretty much however you want. And I'm going to cut off my extra all the way around. Leave myself a little bit of space. So just kind of leaving a little bit of maybe 1/2 inch or 1/3 of an inch around, because then I'll be able to use my hot glue and fold this over so that these frays aren't sticking out around the front part of my wreath. Mom, I know you're watching. Stocking stuffer, new sewing scissors for Alicia. Okay, so now you can't see the fabric from the back, you can just see it from the front. I think it looks super cute. I'm going to use a reusable stencil that says Hello Fall. And I think I'm gonna use white against this gorgeous fabric, and I'm going to place it just off to the one side on the lower bottom. And because I'm doing a small stencil, I'm just going to hold it into place while I'm sponging. But if you have a larger stencil, you'll want to put a little bit of a painter's tape or something around the outside. That way it doesn't move on you. So I work best when it's a little bit on an angle. So the lettering looks really cute, and now I'm going to add a little bit of fall decor to it. I think really when I think about fall, I always think about dried sunflowers and greenery. So I think I'm going to add some of these gorgeous sunflowers to the bottom. Again, I'm gonna go with a little bit of an asymmetrical look because I offset my lettering and just kind of make the sunflowers trail just a little bit up this left side. I hope that you enjoyed today's video. I got a whole bunch of upcycled items put together to create 5 separate wreaths. Pretty amazing when you really look at your craft pile, what items you have, because I didn't have to purchase anything to make 5 separate items. Let me know in the comment section which was your favorite, 1 through 5. Wreath number 1, wreath number 2, wreath number 3, wreath number 4, or wreath number 5. If you're new to my channel, be sure to hit the subscribe button. And if you're already part of my YouTube family, I love you. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you on our next video.